Hey, what's going on, guys? I've noticed that the view time of my programming tutorials is not really that great. Well, at least as I supposed, as I wanted them to be. So I just thought maybe some of you guys have no idea how exactly to follow those tutorials. So that's the reason for creating this kind of video where I'd like to show you my own experience of how I personally follow YouTube programming tutorials. And yes, I'm really following YouTube programming tutorials, believe it or not. And one of my favorite bloggers regarding this kind of topic is Traverse Media, which I really I'm really kind of inspired by this guy, and also I got an hourly paid job at Upwork thanks to his tutorials. Thanks to the tutorials on his channel. So in this particular video, I'd like to show you how I personally follow Traverse Media's tutorials, and basically that's my way of doing things and my way of learning. So I'm just exactly the same like you guys, so I'm following tutorials just exactly the same way you do. Well, maybe not really the same way, but I also do follow those tutorials. So in this video, let me just show you a quick example on how me personally do that. So let's actually start. I've skipped a bunch of stuff here because Brad was actually explaining the very basics regarding beautiful soup, and this is the scraping with Python scraping tutorial here on his channel. So I don't really want to get through that basic beautiful soup tag extraction stuff, and I just want to start right where he starts actually writing some code. So let's start.
So we're going to go ahead and paste that in here, and then
okay, so already we can see that he has a text editor been open and he's making some HTTP requests. So what I need to do, I need to mimic this stuff just right now, and I'll be using this experimental Python development environment of my own creation for you guys being able to follow at least Python online tutorials completely in browser without a need to install Python on your local environments and stuff like that. So here you just can type Python code and then just run it, and that's kind of also probably I'll move this to a new window. So let me just remember how to do this. Okay, so now it's in the new window here. Okay, so let me just arrange my windows a little bit. So okay, it seems like now this is just great. Okay, so okay, so here we start. Okay, so he imports requests. Okay, let me do the same. I say import requests from BS4 import. Okay, it's not my own tutorial. I can I'm not forced to talk what I'm doing. Okay, beautiful soup. Okay, the habit is probably stronger than I. Okay, and also he imports a writer from CSV. Okay, so from CSV import writer. Okay, and also he creates a response variable equals to request.get and then somewhat codedemos.com sample block. Okay, let me try to print that. http codedemos.com /sample blog. Okay, so okay, let me just try to run this. Well, it seems like it works. Okay,
and once we get that, I'm going to initialize beautiful soup just like we did before, except we're not going to pass in just a local variable that has the HTML in it. We're going to pass in the response and then .text. So that'll get the web page and put it in here. And then we also need to just pass in HTML.parser. All right.
Well,
so
I would have used LXML parser instead because that allows you to. Well, it doesn't matter. So here I just need to follow. Like that's the code monkey that's the code monkey king's way of following tutorials. Monkey see, monkey do. That's kind of my way of doing things. How to learn things. Okay, so he creates the soup variable equals to beautiful soup and passes the response.tags at the first variable and specifies the parser as html.parser. I'm seeing this for the first time, this html.parser. It's really interesting. Okay, is this really gonna work? Okay, so already got an error. By the way, guys, I have updated my experimental Python development environment, so now it gives you a reasonable errors, if any. So couldn't find tree builder HTML parse. Okay, HTML parser here. Okay, like this. Okay, now it works. Great. Whoa.
So now let's take a look at the structure, because whenever you scrape a web page, you need to get familiar with the structure of what you're scraping. So we want these posts, right? So I'll open Chrome Tools, and if we look down here, each post is wrapped in a class of post preview, which is very important. And then inside there we have an H2 with the class of post title. We have an A tag with the href pointing to the link. We know we want that. We want this text. In the post meta we have the author in an A tag, and then the date is in a span with the class of post date. We know we want that. And then post to post dash preview. Okay, because each one has a class of post. We're running blog scraping.
Okay, so probably just stop until over here. So here his extracts the posts equals to soup dot find all, and then he uses the class. Oh, it's interesting definition, as well as the way of extracting data. Actually, post preview. So he just uses the extracting by class without specifying the tag name. Well, that's also the case basically. Okay, preview. Okay, now he loops over the post. So for post in posts and print post, and we'll see what we got there. Okay. Oh. I'm just wondering why I can't see any output there. So let me just follow this kind of link. So just to make sure if I did actually, okay, codedemos.com is for sale. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate. So code demos, is this really codedemos.com? Sample blog. Well, so unfortunately this kind of source is not even available. Well, it's not a big deal, of course. Well, that's basically the reason why I used to use the sites I've created on my own in order to make sure that they are always available. So like the scraping info that you can see over here, okay, just like this one, and well, it's just slipping because it's a free hosting, but still it works. So yeah, and I'm using this kind of site in my tutorials, web scraping tutorials, just in order to give a reasonable data to scrape without kind of violating anybody's copyrights or stuff like that. Okay guys, so I just wanted to show you this kind of atmosphere when you're following somebody's programming tutorials. So you just open your own environment where you're working at, and you just you opening the video and then just typing the code from screen, trying to understand what's going on there, trying to run this, and so on and so on until you get the very gist. So that's the exact behavior that I'm expecting when I'm creating my own programming tutorials for you guys, so you would actually be making use of them, not only looking at the source code in the description and just blindly copy pasting that, but just trying to get into the code, trying to play around with that, trying to use this kind of sort of experimental Python development environment that I've created. So no need to install Python and stuff like that. That's really nice, because you can just be in the browser using either your computer or laptop or smartphone. Even by the way, I've created this run button for the smartphones as well, so you can run this from whatever device basically. And one little more update here is actually from now on it actually supports Scrapy framework as well, so you can even test and draft your Scrapy spiders over here. So this is kind of it for this video, guys, and I'm planning lots of Scrapy tutorials in the near future, so I hope you will be following those tutorials in this kind of like way, so to make the most use of those tutorials out there, not just blindly copy paste and stuff. So well, I hope this at least motivates you. Well, I hope this motivates you at least a little bit. So this is it from my side, and until next time, and take care.